we need to acknowledge the Rivian.
Definitely.
So Rivian today announced the R2, and then they blew everybody's mind by revealing the R3 and the R3X.
Yeah.
Um, I'm going to go ahead and share also some of their. So right here, this is the R2. And
Yeah.
so it's essentially a smaller version of the R1S, targeting the Model Y. I think it was William who mentioned that's like a RAV4 size,
Yeah.
Toyota RAV4. Um, William, you put a reservation down. I put a reservation down. Um, why don't you tell us why you reserved it?
So, I I've had a rule for myself for the last several years, especially when it comes to tech products. I really like and prefer working and buying products from companies that clearly are indicating that they're here to play, that they're here to make something that makes you think, I wish my car had that.
Mm-hmm.
Tesla's done that every single vehicle I've ever owned from them, so I'm a loyal fan of that brand. But Rivian's one of those brands that I feel like they have carved out a nice little spot for themselves. Because I remember going to the LA Auto Show, probably like I can't remember how many years ago, but I saw I think it was Bollinger,
Yeah,
their Ford Bronco looking kind of really
that thing was
rugged.
cool.
That thing was so cool, and it
That was
looked like
cool.
it could drive through concrete walls. I mean, the thing was ultra utilitarian. Like it had that pass through that goes from the front all the way to the trunk and beyond. It had thought out a lot of things that I was like, okay, this is for people who aren't into luxury vehicles. Suede doesn't impress them in the car. Nobody's making electric vehicles for that, and this market of EVs will not take off until they start competing for other people's interests. Not everybody
Hmm.
wants to drive a car that looks like a Model 3 or has the capability of a Model X or even a Cybertruck. And I think that Rivian has done a great job being like, it's awesome what you guys are doing. We make vehicles for people who like camping, who like off-roading, and they do it casually, but it's still something that they identify with. And I think that the R2 is a good looking product from a company that's really showing. Everybody else is talking about cutting back on EVs. Everybody's talking about there's no
Yeah.
demand. Ford's reducing EV production. Oh, is there really still interest? Tesla's stock is dropping because nobody wants EVs again. And then you got Rivian coming out literally saying, yo, we're going to make a smaller version of our other car. And we even had some spare time to make another car that's also going to definitely capture some interest, because they are cheaper or more affordable, I guess is the better way to say it.
Yeah.
And they answer certain segments of the market where they're like, okay, you know what, I need something that I can take camping with me because I like taking the kids camping on the weekends or whatever it is. And that's where they're here to play. And I respect the hell out of it. And I like the look and the shape and the capability of them. I like the cargo space. I like the height of the vehicles compared to the model my wife's Model Y. And so I'm like, okay, in a couple of years, if I want to change out to a model, to a Rivian R2, I've got the reservation, and my kids are going to be taller, so they're definitely going to want to be able to get in and out of a car that's a little bit more their height or whatever. And and this is one of those unique moments where it's like, I'd rather throw a positive vote behind a company like Rivian to be the competition that Tesla and that market needs, because they don't just
Hmm.
need Tesla just making cars and everybody being like electric cars. Now it's just Tesla making electric cars.
Hmm.
No, I want to see more. I want to see more competition. It's got to be in the form of designed, deliberate vehicles that they think people want to buy, and that requires dedication to it. I think Rivian has it.
To the Model 3. We said we all had families, and that was kind of the difficulty thing with the Model 3 is that with a rear-facing car seat, especially a full-size car seat, it gets really tight to get in and out of
Yes.
that back seat. So I felt like that was kind of like really the need that the Model Y does a better job of it, and Cybertruck obviously is great to get kids in and out because there's so much room. But then you're not going to have many soccer moms going out looking for the Cybertruck because different tastes there. But yeah, I think the Rivian is definitely going to hit that market right in the middle, where it's got the utility, it's got the space, and it's an EV. I think that's huge.
And it's an
To see
EV.
it.
I think it can't be understated. You said it, Chase.
And the stats and the features on it are just amazing. I mean, 0 to 60 in under 3 seconds. I'm sure that's probably for the tri-motor version, but still, the single motor and the dual motor are going to be quick. Um, it's 45,000, starting at 45,000, which I think is an amazing price point. Um, it's luxurious, it's spacious, there's cargo room. I love the windows, how the quarter windows in the back vent out for ventilation, and how the rear window slides down. I mean, I love that. It just, to me, it's the perfect family vehicle, um, and yet utility, right? I'm sure it's going to have all the capabilities as the R1 series with off-roading and all the adventure, because they kept talking about adventure,
Yeah,
all the adventure capabilities. I mean, it's, to me, I was all in. Um, and then when they revealed the R3, I thought that was super exciting because I love the way that thing looks. Let me bring that up real quick. That right here, I mean, even from the backside right there, that's the R3X. That's a beautiful little hatchback, in my opinion.
yeah, yeah.
Like a miniature version, yeah.
But I also think that I think we're getting fooled a little bit by these photos because I'm like, how? It's because like I think it's obvious the R1 is the R1. It's got 3 rows in the R1S, and it's a truck for the R1T. The R2, shortened a little bit. I don't see a third row or even the possibility necessarily. I mean, it's got a little trunk space, but it still does 2 rows. And then I see this one, the R3, and I'm like, okay, it's 2 rows, but I'm like, but it doesn't have the trunk space, and it doesn't look. It looks like it's apparent in the R2. And I think that this is supposed to be like a little bit more sporty. It looks
Yeah.
like it's supposed to be a little bit more of a an off-road quickster, like somebody can have it for fun, but it can also be the Subaru WRX on the weekends or something like that. Yeah, see that photo right there, that one, it just
This
looks
one right here?
so slim. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, like it's got a surfboard like hanging out the back in that one shot. Somebody saw that photo, they're like, don't use that one, don't use that photo, and then they did. Yeah,
Interesting
it's
to know
just
all
so
these
small.
car
And did you
makers.
catch,
Oh, go ahead, sorry.
sorry, do you see the charge?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's the Tesla
That
Yeah,
seems to be the
charge port.
everybody's like, what? No, charging
first to
ports only
market.
go on the left side. Rivian, we
Yeah.
let you guys do into our superchargers, and you thank us like this?
They're trolling them a little bit, I think.
Well, so I will say this, and I'll tie it back into like electric vehicles. We're driving around these batteries that can collectively power cities, and a lot of cars park on the street. A lot of cars get parked in front of their house, and getting a cord that's long enough to go around the back end of a bumper versus if you're parked in front of someone's house, or if you have street parking in front of your apartment. If cities start getting on board with doing infrastructure where they pay you to plug in your car at night so that you can be available to back up the grid in major outages, there's an incentive there, and it means that they can just have a nice shorty cord right to a post versus having a long one that they got to maintain and someone's going to come along and snip it for the 30 cents of copper that's in it. I think that it's actually a pretty forward thinking thing that probably, I think that Rivian was smart to be like, yes, we will accept the NACS as our charging future. However, I do think that there needs to be a public conversation about, okay, but shouldn't the charging plug be on the other side of the car? Doesn't that serve the push to transform all of our fleet from gas vehicles to electric better if it's available as an added good? And so I think that Rivian probably did a smart thing kind of forcing the hand in that. I'm curious to see what Tesla's response will be.